Regulate. Regulators! Mount up.
Well, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. This is the regulator here. And in this video lesson, I'm going to go over with you how to create and solve systems of linear equations. Okay, we're going to create and solve systems of linear equations. So this first one I have for us here is the quintessential chemical mixture problem. So a nurse has a 20% alcohol solution and a 50% alcohol solution. We want to know how many liters of each should be used to make 20 liters of a 30% alcohol solution. Okay, so in other words, this nurse needs an alcohol solution to disinfect a wound or to treat something. She can only use, or she wants to use, 30% solution, but all she has is a 20 or a 50, so she's going to have to mix them together to make a new solution. Okay, so how is she going to do this? That's what we're going to do right here. So, because anytime you get these kind of problems, you're going to want to write two types of equations. One is strictly quantity, like how much does she have? Well, she's going to take this 20% solution and she's going to mix it with the 50% solution, and when she's done, she's going to get a 20% solution. So I'm going to let X be how many liters of the 20% solution she uses, and Y is going to be how many liters of the 50%. So maybe I'll just say this right here. X equals liters of 20% solution, and Y equals the liters of 50% solution. Okay, now common sense tells me if she's going for 30% solution, that's closer to 20 than 50, so she's going to have to use more of the 20%, right? And half of 20 would be 10, so I'm thinking a little bit more than that, maybe the 13, 14 liters. So common sense can give me an idea of what type of answer I'm going to get. Okay, now when I work it out, she's going to mix these two together. She's going to take X plus Y, mix it together, and get 20 liters. That's strictly quantity, right? Maybe it's 13 liters of the 20% and 7 of the 50. These have to add up to 20. Then all I'm going to do is I'm going to take that equation and I'm going to put the percents on it. The X was 20%. The Y is 50%, so I'll multiply it by 0.5. And then when she gets done, or he gets done, the nurse gets done, they want it to be 30%. So all I did is I took my quantity equation and I multiplied each thing by the percent alcohol that it was. Okay, now when I wrote the percents, I wrote 0.20. I changed the percents to decimals, right? And I've got an extra zero in all these. I don't really need those extra zeros. And you guys, at the same time, I've noticed you don't like fractions, you don't like decimals. So maybe let's take this bottom equation and multiply everything by 100. Okay? So I'm going to leave the top equation like it is. It's X plus Y equals 20. But now when I multiply by 100, that moves the decimal point 2 places in each term. So I'm going to get that this bottom equation becomes 2X plus 5Y. Then that's going to equal 100 times 0.30. It's going to be 3 times 20 is 60. Because look at that. With that one simple step, we just made this linear system just like all the ones we've been solving. We can solve it by graphing, elimination, or substitution. So maybe what I'll do first, I'm going to take a picture of this. First, I'll solve it by substitution, because that was the first method we learned. Okay, so if I solve this by substitution, I'm going to solve the top equation for one of the variables. I'm going to solve it for y. Y is going to be 20 minus x. And then I'm going to put 20 minus x into here for y. So I'll have 2x times 2x plus, and then 5 times y, which is 20 minus x, that's going to equal 60. So all I've done here is I put the 20 minus x into here for y. So I've got 2x equals 5 times, not equals, as I'm getting crazy here, 2x plus 5 times 20 is 100. 5 times negative x is negative 5x, and that equals 60. So 2x minus 5x is going to be negative 3x. I'm going to take this 100 over here. It becomes negative. And then 60 minus 100 is negative 40. Divide both sides by negative 3. And x is going to be 40 over 3, which 3 goes into 14 13 times with a remainder of 1. So that's 13 1/3 liters of the x was my 20%. So 13 1/3 liters of 20%. Okay, now x plus y has to be 20, so that means y is going to be 20 minus 13 1/3. Okay, so I'm going to think of 20 as 19 3/3. And now 3/3 minus 1/3 is 2/3, and 19 minus 13 is 6. So then it's 6 2/3 liters of the 50%. You guys see how our common sense pretty much told us close to what the answer should be. I was guessing around 13 or 14 liters of the 20%. Okay, now, because we could also do this by elimination, right? If I solve this by elimination, I'm going to eliminate the x's. So I'm going to multiply the top equation by negative 2. And when I do that, I'll get negative 2x minus 2y is negative 40. The reason why I multiplied by negative 2x is in the bottom equation I had positive 2x plus 5y is 60. So now if I add these, the x's are eliminated. 5y minus 2y is 3y. 60 minus 40 is 20. Divide by 3. And y is 20 over 3. Well, 3 goes into 20 6 times with the remainder of 2, so 6 2/3. Boom. The exact same thing we got right here for y, right? 6 2/3. And y was the 50%, so we say of the 50%. And we tell people it's liters or it's gallons, whatever the unit of measurement is. Okay? Now, you guys, we could have also done this on the calculator. And I think the way I do it on the calculator is by graphing. And I would go back, let's see, let me grab my calculator. All right, so I've got my calculator. I'd go to graph, so I'd hit 3. And then I would type in the y sub 1, I'd put 20 minus x. That's how I'd graph x plus y is 20. I bring the x over, it becomes 20. For this other one here, I'd bring the 0.2x over, it would become negative 0.2x. I would add that to the 0.3 times 20 and divide by 0.5. So in the y sub 2 in my calculator, I did 0.3 times 20 minus 0.5x, and I divided it by 0.2. Whoops. Let's see. Take that back. The y is 0.5. So I got 0.3 times 20. For the x, it was 0.2. So I do 0.2x, and then I got to divide it by 0.5. Right? What I'm basically doing here is all I'm doing is I'm taking this equation, I'm taking the 0.2x over here, becomes negative 0.2x. I'm going to tell the calculator to do that first. Then to get rid of multiplying by 0.5, I'll divide by 0.5. Right. So that's what I typed in here. Whoops, I need the 5 there, 0.5. Okay, now if I graph it in a standard window, I'm not seeing where they intersect. I'm seeing just a little bit of it. So I'm going to look at the viewing window. X is how many liters we were mixing. Well, we're going to mix and get 20 liters. So I'm going to let the x go from 0 to 20. Right? I don't need to look anything less than 0. You can't mix less than 0 liters and then up to 20 liters. I graph that. Oh, look at that. I see where they intersect. If I didn't, I could always hit zoom auto and let the calculator pick the best window. Then I hit F5 for GSolve and then intersect. And you guys look at that. X is 13.3, which is 13 1/3. Right, maybe I'll take a picture of this so we can look at it. X is 13.3. and the y is 6.6 repeating, which is 6 2/3. So graphing, the calculator finds it right there for us. All right, let's do another one here. And you guys, this is a problem I just pulled out of the book. This is on page 435, number 4. Helen invested a total of $1,000 in 2 simple interest bank accounts. One account pays 5% annual interest, the other pays 6%. Total amount of interest she earned after 1 year was $58. Find the amount invested in each. All right, because this is real similar to our chemical mixture we just did. Okay, she's doing 2 simple interests, one at 5% and one at 6%. So let's let x equal what she invests at 5% and y equal what she invests at 6%. Then x plus y has got to equal 1,000, right? She invested in 2 interest accounts and got $1,000. That's the quantity that she has. That's how much money she has invested. Okay, now the 5% one, or the first one's earning 5%, the other one's 6%. So I'm going to multiply the x by 0.06. That's how you write 6% as a decimal. I'm going to, 0.05. The x was 5%. The y was 6%, so 0.06 is 6% times y. Now, when she's done, she's earned $58. So I set this equal to 58 because I want that to equal how much she's earned. All right, now, you guys, we can do the same thing I did in that last problem. I don't like decimals. I know you don't. So I'm going to leave this top equation just like it is. But the bottom equation, I'm going to multiply by 100. And I'll get 5x plus 6y equals 5,800. Guys, look at that. We've got 2 equations, 2 unknowns. I'm going to rewrite it down here. Now, we can solve this by graphing, we can solve it by substitution, we can solve it by elimination. I'm going to choose to solve it by elimination. I'm going to eliminate the x's. So I'm going to multiply this top equation by -5. So when I do that, the top equation becomes -5x minus 5y. That equals -5,000. The bottom equation stays 5x plus 6y is 5,800. Look at this. -5x plus 5x, they cancel out, so the x's are eliminated. -5y plus 6y is y. 5,800 minus 5,000 is 800. Whoops, not 8,000, 800. And you guys, look what they asked here in the problem. Find the amount invested in each account. Well, we just figured out that y was 8,000. We said the y was 6%. So she's going to invest $800 at 6%. Now, altogether, she invested 1,000. So 1,000 minus 800 means she invests 200 at 5%. And look at that. There are my answers. Now, since I got this problem out of the book, because whenever you do the homework in the book, you've got the nice thing that you can check your answers to make sure you're doing it right. So I want to illustrate that for you here. So underneath this, I have the answers. I'm going to check. Did I get it right? Look, so we get the same equations. Then Helen invested 200 at 5% and 800 at 6%. You guys, it's that easy. Let's do one more. This is number 16 on page 438. Okay, so 2 office supply stores sell their brand of copy paper by the pound. Ooh, I wonder if one of them is Dunder Mifflin. Okay, one company offers a flat rate shipping charge and the other offers free shipping. Use this graph provided to construct a linear system to model the situation. Solve the system, determine the amount of copy paper of which the cost is same at both stores, then use the graph to verify that our answer is reasonable. All right. Well, we want to make a linear system. So that means we want to find an equation for both of these lines. And I think if we write them in slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b, that's going to be the easiest. Okay, and y is going to be the cost, and x is going to be the amount of paper, because that's on the x-axis and the y-axis. So this equation right here, Maybe I'll highlight it in yellow. This one right here, let's see, I'll highlight the other one in sort of this light blue. Okay. The one I highlighted in yellow has a y-intercept of 0. Right? It offers a flat rate and offers free shipping. So that means this is going through 0, 0. So the equation of the line should just be the slope. And this goes up from 39 to 161.5. And then it goes over from 100 to 450. And you know what, you guys, let's do this. Let's say these would be with calculator questions. Right? We know how to find the equation of a line. Let's keep this here. Y is going to equal, to find the slope, slope is rise over run. So I'm going to go back to this, and this goes up from 39 to 161.5. So I'm going to do 161.5, and I'm going to subtract 39. Oops, I need parentheses around that so it does it first. That's my change in y. Then I subtract the change in x is 450 minus 100. So it's negative 227.5. Guys, I don't like that at all, right? This line is going up. The slope should have been positive. And look what I noticed right there. Careless mistake. I did minus instead of division. And some of you do that kind of stuff all the time, and then you come to me, hey, what did I do wrong? Because you should be able to look at that and catch it. So watch this. If I hit clear, then I hit up, it puts the last thing I typed in there again. So I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to delete that and hit division instead of subtraction. I like that better. 0.35. So this one is 0.35x. That's this linear equation. This other one here is going to be y equals the slope of that line times x plus 60. And I know it's 60 because that's what I get when x is 0. Right? And then I'm going to use these 2 points to find the slope of the line. We go from 60 up to 120, so we went up 60. And then we go from 0 to 400, so we went over 400. So let's see. I can cancel these 6's. And let's go ahead and stick with fractions here. 60 divided by 400 means the slope of this one's 0.15. So this is 0.15. There's my system that I want to solve. Okay. You guys, since they're both equal to y, that means they equal each other. So I'm going to set 0.35x equal to 0.15x plus 60. So I'll subtract 0.15 from both sides, 0.15x, and I'll get 0.20x equals 60. So then I'll divide by 0.2. So if I divide 0.2 into 60, you got to move the decimal place over 1, so I add a 0. 2 goes into 600 300 times. So I just got that x is 300. Now, let's look at this graph. Here's 250. It looks like it's going by 50s. 300, 350, 275, 300, 325. Let's see, what is it going by here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 gets to 50. So 50, 100, 150, 200, 250. 300, 350, 400, 450, 500. Yeah, so it's going by 50s. So this is 300 right here. Yeah, you guys, it looks like it could be 300. It seems reasonable. Now, the question said, solve the system to turn amount of copy paper for which the cost is the same. Well, X was the amount of paper, so 300 pounds is when the cost would be the same. If I wanted to know that cost, then I would do 300 times 0.35. Watch this, I'll do 300 times 0.35. Ooh, rascal. Get that times in there. It'd be $105. I'm going to compare that to 300 times 0.15 plus 60, right? Because that's what this other equation was. Look at that, 105. Now, I could have also done this. Once I found these equations, I could have gone back to my graphs, and put that in there. Put 0.35x in the y sub 1, and then 0.15x plus 60, whoops, sabotage, plus 60 in the y sub 2 and graph those. Now, I'm not seeing a lot here, but I'm going to make this match their graph. I'm going to go from 0 to 500. So I'm at the viewing window. X starts at 0. I'm going to let it go to 500. If I graph that again, I'm still not seeing a lot, but then I'll hit Zoom Auto. Look at that. Looks just like that. Hit G-Solve Intersect. Guys, once again, that, my friends, is deja vu all over again. X is 300, Y is 105, just like we figured it out to be. So when they ship 300 pounds, the fee is $105. Okay, let's check our answer. Uh-oh. Because they got +4 here. Dang it, look at that. Because this is wonderful. This is wonderful. I'm glad I got the wrong answer here. Because think about it, you think everybody's always supposed to get the right answer. I just got the wrong answer, and I'm really good at math. You're going to get the wrong answers a lot of times, and you think you're not good at math. There's just a careless mistake here. Because when I looked at this, this bothered me a little bit, but I ignored it. This doesn't go exactly through 0, 0, right? It's up a little bit. I just naturally assumed it went through 0, 0. That's bad, right? When I went through and I found this line, I said it was just 0.35x. Okay, we better take a look at that again. So I'm going to take a picture of this. Let's look at it on the next page. Okay, when I found that line, we found the slope was 0.35. Oops, come on. Where's my pen? There it is. And my pen's not wanting to work for me. Hang on a second here. Let's get it. All right, so we found the slope was 0.35. Now, what I should have done is maybe grab this point right here, right? The point where x is 100 and y is 39, and said, okay, y minus 39 is going to equal the slope times x minus 100, and put that in slope-intercept form. So if I multiply 0.35, let's come back out here. Let's go 0.35 times, right here's 0.35 times x and 0.35 times negative 100. Times negative 100, I get negative 35. Right? So then I would have here y minus 39 equals 0.35x minus 35. Then I'll bring this negative 39 over here. It becomes positive 39. I'd get y equals 0.35x plus 4. As look what they had, plus 4. That right there is how you learn. You do a problem. If you get it right, great. But if you get it wrong, sometimes it's even better, so you can go back and figure out what you did wrong. You guys, I just looked at this and said, hey, it goes through 0. It doesn't. It's off a little bit. This should have had a plus 4. So that means when I work this thing out here, this should have had a plus 4 in here. So when I bring it over here and I subtract it from 60, this right here would have been 56. Right, 60 minus 4 is 56. Divide that by 0.2. 0.2 into 56. Bring the decimal over, add a 0. That goes 280 times. Boom. So I would say not 300 pounds. I would say 280 pounds. Boom. Then you guys, then on the graph, when I graphed it, right, I'll come in here. Whoops, let's grab my calculator. I'll go back to the graph. I will add plus 4 to this. Regraph these. G-solve, intersect. Is look at that. 280 and 102. put that on top of that. 280 and 102, which is what they said we should have got. 280 pounds would cost $102. Look at that. Guys, I like that. That's great. You can see an example there where you don't always get it right. That's why you got to check your answers. Okay? You guys keep working at this. I know it seems like a lot of work, but remember, if it's important to you, you'll find a way. If not, you'll find an excuse. And as always, you guys remember to endeavor to persevere.